The leader of Iran's Islamic Revolution urges Muslims to be vigilant of Western and Israeli plots aimed at derailing the wave of Islamic awakening.
یکی از خطرناکترین چیزهایی که نهضت بیداری اسلامی را تهدید می‌کند اختلاف افکنی و تبدیل این نهضت‌ها به معارضه‌های خونین فرقه‌ای و مذهبی و قومی و ملی است. این توطئه همکنون از سوی سرویس‌های جاسوسی غرب و صهیونیسم با کمک دلارهای نفتی و سیاستمداران خودفروخته از شرق آسیا تا شمال آفریقا و به ویژه در منطقه عربی با جد و اهتمام دنبال می شود.
Well, Ayatollah Khamenei was addressing an international conference dubbed Scholars and Islamic Awakening in the capital, Tehran. The leader said Muslim scholars shoulder the grave responsibility of guiding the Islamic awakening movement, adding they need to be vigilant to defuse enemy plots. Ayatollah Khamenei noted that media allies in the West and across the region are trying to portray the war in Syria as a conflict between Shias and Sunnis, whereas the conflict, he said, is in fact between supporters and opponents of resistance against Israel. Ayatollah Khamenei also touched on Bahrain's revolution, criticizing, quote, the secular tyrant ruling regime. Hundreds of foreign and Iranian scholars are attending the two-day gathering in Tehran. Well, we're going to cross over to Pennsylvania. Joining us via Skype is Professor Lawrence Davidson with Westchester University. Many thanks for joining us here on Press TV, Professor Davidson. Now, looking at the comments made, it is quite obvious that a lot of foreign players are trying to hone in as far as the North African and Middle Eastern region goes, as we're seeing this wave of revolutions and uprisings over there. What do you think is the way forward when there are so many players that are waiting to just exploit certain political vacuums and also as these countries step into a new era and are looking for a way forward?
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that. There's no obvious way forward as long as outside powers, as you say, back various elements within this, in this case, in Syria's case, the resistance, to the point where they can sustain the struggle yet not win, and the government can't win. I mean, this has been something I've said for a while now, that the problem is nobody can win. And for sure, if the Bahrainis, or not the Bahrainis, but the Qataris and the Kuwaitis and the Saudis would stay out of this, as well as the United States and the UK, then I think the rebel movement couldn't sustain itself. The government would, for better or worse, conquer this rebellion, and there could be some stability back into the country.
Well, looking at the comments made by the leader of Iran's Islamic Revolution, he did mention that unity amongst Muslims can be the way forward. How imperative do you think unity is amongst Muslims within their nations and amongst different Muslim nations as well, as a way forward, specifically with regards to the fact that this region has been volatile in the past and does see a future volatility if nothing is done to curb it?
Right. No, I think that Islamic unity would be a very fine thing, a very good thing, except that I don't see how you're going to achieve it. Now, even if you leave the situation to the average man or woman on the street, I mean, there seems to be, in my experience, there seems to be a sort of built-in false sense of hostility. I mean, I say false because it's not necessary. A sense of hostility between Shiites and Sunnis. I think this is built up historically as well as exploited by these leaders. But it's been exploited very effectively, and I personally don't see how you can overcome it readily and achieve this unity that would be a fine thing, but I don't know how you would get it.
Okay, we're going to have to leave it there. That was Professor Lawrence Davidson with Westchester University joining us via Skype from Pennsylvania. Professor, thank you very much for your comments here on Press TV.